Day special.
Running May 1st to May 14th.
Now, our Value Club Blue Tag specials. Post Great Grain cereals, just $18.99. Essential Everyday Cream Cheeses, just $7.99 each. Stone Ridge Premium Ice Cream, $17.99. Terra Chips, just $15.99. Nabisco Ritz Chips and Crisp Thins, $17.99. Essential Everyday Canned Dog Food is just $8.69. And now, our very low weekly
Value deals. Essential Everyday Croutons, $6.99. Nature Valley Granola Bars, $12.99. Juicy Juice, 100% juice, $13.99. Extra Liquid Laundry Detergent, $12.99. Soft Soap Liquid Hand Soap, $6.99. Suave Deodorant, $8.99. Shop Smart, Shop Value Mart, tell them in Spanish.
Sea listo y haga sus compras aquí en Value Mart.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
Save your quarters and save your dollars. You could protect.
Parents and guardians, it's time to secure your child's success. Enroll them in Aspire and unlock amazing benefits. $500 in cash savings, $500 in investment shares, and life-changing financial education to teach budgeting, saving, and investing. Don't wait. Sign up your child or ward for Aspire today and give them the tools to achieve greatness. Visit aspire.gov.kn for more information.
Need to get your goods to St. Kitts and Nevis? Look no further. TDC Shipping has you covered with reliable cargo solutions by land, air, and sea. Whether it's a package from across the world or a large shipment of goods, TDC Shipping makes it easy, affordable, and stress-free. And with our airbox service, ordering from your favorite online stores just got even easier. Ship straight to your mailbox and let TDC Shipping handle the rest. Fast, secure, and even to your door. Visit us today at the C.A. Paul Southwell Industrial Park or Penny's Industrial Site, or call 465-2511 in St. Kitts or 469-5430 in Nevis. TDC Shipping, where reliable service meets unbeatable convenience. TDC, together we succeed.
Tune in to Creative Voices, the ultimate radio call-in program where innovation meets inspiration. Join me, Dr. Sarah Owen, as I welcome brilliant Caribbean creatives and innovators for engaging sessions that promise to spark your creativity. Don't miss this unique opportunity to interact with our guests, ask your burning questions, and gain insights that could elevate your own creative endeavors. Tune in every other Friday from 10 a.m. to midday. Get inspired. Let your voice be heard. Mark your calendars and prepare to embark on a journey of creativity and innovation with Creative Voices.
Welcome to Island Tea with your faves. Keep it locked in with us for your daily dose of hot tea, only on Win Media 98.9.
Good morning, and how are you doing this morning? To the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, good morning. To the regional and international diaspora, good morning. Just about 13 minutes after the hour of 8 o'clock in the a.m. For those of you listening to us on radio, remember it's 98.9 FM. We're being simulcast on TVC Channel 40, Facebook, as well as YouTube. Just a reminder of our numbers. In the UK, you can call us at 0333 440065. In the U.S., once again, two numbers. The first one, 718-285-6984, or 1-305-921-4619, and our local number, 466-0989. Good morning, Quint. How are you doing this morning?
I'm fine, thank you. And you?
I'm fighting something in my throat. I
Yeah,
gargled, I did all kinds of things, especially on the left side. It's just, I don't know what's going on. I got over that bit of thing, but that's going around, but something else seems to want to be bothering
Well,
my
let's
throat.
hope you get over that sooner than later.
Me too,
Okay.
me too, me too.
Because I love when you're in good spirits. I love when you're okay.
Okay, glad to know.
When you're not okay, I'm not okay.
Aww. Oh, that's, oh gosh. Well, I want you to be okay all the time, so I'll try my best to be in my best spirits.
Yeah.
So you wanna
Yeah,
start
I
first?
wanted-
You
I
have me
wanted-
laughing already.
Yeah, I wanted to start with this bit of, I think it's good to start with a bit of humor.
Yeah.
Because we've been having so much negativity and negativity. So here we
serious
go.
discussions.
This song was dedicated specifically to Mr. Donald Trump.
He talks like a tough guy, tweets like machete, but the moment it gets hot, he flops like confetti. Japan and Europe yelled at Trudeau, said steel's too strong and your cheese gotta go. The EU smirked, Canada side, Trump slips away like Ted Cruz's Astroglide. T-A-C-O, taco, taco, taco. Trump always chickens out. Oh no! Starts a fight, then runs away like a matador in the ASPCA. T-A-C-O, taco, taco, taco. Roars like a lion, scurries like a roach. Tyrant, tough guy, más o menos. He barked at Beijing, no chips, no phones, then caved when Wall Street threw some stones. Even tried to slap tariffs on ease from France, but when Reno laughed, he hid behind Vance. He bans, he boasts, then walks it back. Blames deep state deals or a heart attack. From trade wars to his golf course flair, it's all one big hot air affair. T-A-C-O, taco, taco, taco. Trump always chickens out. It's so tough on X, weak when pressed. Can't persuade anyone, just one big mess. T-A-C-O, taco, taco, taco. Global leaders all know the code. Just wait a week and he'll implode. He said no more German cars, then bought a Beamer with gold-plated bars. Claimed tariffs would fund the wall, but Mexico still ain't paid at all. T-A-C-O, taco, taco, taco. Trump always chickens out. Hello. Bluffs and blunders obvious to see. Nobody takes him seriously. T tweets that stall. A always brawl. C cries foul ball. Oh, out by fall. So if he threatens your trade with doom and gloom, just give it time, he'll leave the room. Cause that's the game, no need to shout. Trump always chickens out. Taco, taco.
Really?
I tell you, that was well put together.
Well put together.
Well put
Mexico has
together.
not paid at all. Listen.
Uh,
He talks a good game, but nothing he says ever comes to
I
fruition.
tell you.
Well, let me not say that he's making sure that one thing comes to fruition. He's getting rid of everybody that he doesn't want in America.
But here's the big joke now. The big joke is that they said Trump has directed the FBI, the CIA, and ICE to get those you see those cheerlead dancers in the front? He says, get them and deport them. So they said his advisor said, but Trump, they're not in the United States, you know. He says, well, get them wherever they are and deport them from there.
He makes any sense?
Well, you know, that's just humor, right? So,
Oh,
but I
boy.
tell you. Anyway, here, I'm going to play this clip. This is the clip that started it all because
Okay.
a reporter He was having a press conference, and this is how it all started.
Don't treat us like idiots, please. We're not idiots. You're not doing it for our safety. You've banned the journalists so that they don't report.
No, not that, sorry.
Yeah, I think I saw what you're talking about.
Wall Street analysts have coined a new term called the taco trade. They're saying Trump always chickens out on your tariff threats, and that's why markets are higher this week. What's your response to that?
I kick out?
Chicken out.
Oh, then I chicken out. I've never heard that. You mean because I reduced China from 145% that I set down to 100 and then down to another number because I gave the European Union a 50% tax tariff, and they called up and they said, please, let's meet right now. We had a country people didn't think it was going to survive, and you ask a nasty question like that.
Oh, is it a nasty question? It's a question. Just answer the question.
But you notice when he answered the question, he digs himself deeper in a hole.
Yeah.
Because he says, you mean when I gave this type and I dropped it down
exactly.
to so?
You chicken out. Listen.
Hello, caller.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Brother Quinn. Good morning, Potencia.
Good morning.
Potencia. Yes. This is Winston. Welcome. First of all, I care about your health, and I have a true factual remedy for you. And I hope you could get someone get you these ingredients ASAP, and you will be ready within 15 minutes after you take this remedy.
Okay.
Simple. Water, whether it's tapped or bottled, add a little vinegar and a little salt. Not too strong on the salt and not too strong on the vinegar, because we all know what vinegar do. The vinegar that you will use to clean meat or any poultry or such a thing. Go into the bathroom with that. You stir it, go into the bathroom and gargle your throat. And come back and tell me your result. You will be well, sir. Moving from that, I like that song. And actually it was lying down and I was trying to do a little tango move. I really like it. But anyway, let's get down to business. I've listened to the replay of the Prime Minister's round table, and I kind of weigh into that fact that he laid out. And in order for us to have closure in general, talking about the Christophe Harbour, all the other thing about the ETA and all the other things, I approve of that, and the amendment to the extradition bill by the Attorney General Garth. I approve all of that, and I'm going to give Jack his jacket. We need something in that respect and modern. So I have no buts and buts, because we must have laws that will be in harmony with other countries. Because I am against criminal acts, and that include money laundering, such as shit. I don't have to spell that out. But I think, based on the claim that Prime Minister drew, and I'm going to give him kudos for that. Not because I am a contestant against him in respect to the upcoming election. But I think Timothy Harris should come out and counter Dr. Drew's claim, because something is wrong. Yeah? And I wish you could go back as far as the origination of the deal with Denzel Douglas. You see, we need truth. We are here need the truth. We need to find out if this was toxic, if it is toxic, and we have to do the damage control. And for that reason, I will arrest my claim there, and I'll leave it for others, and you may continue until I get another chance to come in. Thank you for hearing me. All the people who are listening, WinFM, bye for now.
Yeah. In relation to that, I remember I heard the Prime Minister and I was a bit puzzled because one time I always try to follow when people speak, but I was kind of a loss when he started and I heard him say that it seemed like in the early stages of the deal we didn't own any land over there.
Apparently, the government owns no land over there, and he said that a couple times well at the round table yesterday. Over there, not owned by the government at all.
But then
That's
further,
private lands.
But then further in the conversation, I'm sure I heard him say that government has 30-something% ownership.
30%. Yeah.
Ownership in Christophe Harbour. So what is that ownership?
I think he mentioned something about 750 square feet of land.
Yeah, so then that is why I'm puzzled, you see?
In terms of, yeah, but he says...
In one vein you say we don't own, and then the next vein you say we have a percentage of land. Okay. Another thing that puzzled me was he kept saying the original contract, but the original contract was not done with Timothy Harris.
Yeah.
Perhaps Timothy Harris did some kind of extension or amendment to the prior contract. I'm not aware of that. But the original contract was done with Denzel Douglas. I know that as a fact. And that original contract is what started everything. With that original contract, I mean, like I said, I saw it. And it was just, it just gave them almost exclusive autonomy, you know? So I think when he's speaking, he should, if you're going to say original, say who the original was, and then say for clarity after that, an amendment was made to the original contract or something like that. So
you mean say what the original contract was, or say who was the original, who was the originator of the original contract?
Yeah.
Because he did say we, you know. If you listen, he did say we, and then he mentioned the next administration, and he mentioned him again. So he did say we.
From what I heard, I heard him on numerous occasions say the original contract done by Timothy Harris. So that cannot be right. Okay?
Nah, I didn't hear that part.
Hello, caller.
Hello.
Yes, good morning. Good morning to you guys. How are you guys doing today?
Yeah,
thanks.
cool.
Yeah, I tuned in a little bit late, but like we can see, the Christophe Harbour sale is still dominating the airwaves. Me personally, I'm still a little bit puzzled, like Quint said just a minute ago. I believe that we should just put these documents in the public domain, and so we all can see, all these contracts and the particulars about the contracts. Quint, I'm going to probably agree with you. We have to go back to the Douglas era. We cannot just be selective in the timeline and start at Timothy Harris. That is not acceptable because, like you just said, the original contract did not start with Timothy Harris. The highlight about Timothy Harris, what I got from yesterday, was that secretive deal that the Prime Minister is alerting the public was happening behind the shed, behind the outhouse, under the table. And no matter what, this is an investment, it seems. And one point that I grabbed from that yesterday, we got to be clear if it's a 30% interest in the whole Christophe Harbour entity. I got that loud and clear from yesterday. But my question in regards to that is that sufficient for the people of Nevis and St. Kitts to own in that Christophe Harbour entity when those persons, those foreigners, I must put it like that, came in with nothing? And let's look at the history of this whole entity and the amount of money that they dumped into it. That's where I'm coming from, and that's where I'm going with it. That's where my headspace is. With the amount of money we dumped into this Christophe Harbour entity, why are we only coming up with 30%? And then the big picture now is, don't our citizens have the capability to control and manage our own affairs? Why aren't the citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis have taken the opportunity? There's a lot of people on the ground that have a lot of money. Why didn't they take the opportunity or given the opportunity to buy shares into the situation? Like, if an opportunity came up in terms of, the sale that happened, why couldn't the citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis given the chance to buy into the situation with shares so that we can capture more shares or whatever? I mean, the opportunity, why it wasn't given to our locals? Or was it given to the locals and the locals didn't step up and take it? But it's still a little bit unclear. But me personally, I've heard what I need to hear yesterday, and I've taken away some great points from it. And I was happy that the round table happened yesterday. So for those who are still uncertain, we just probably need to get the documents in the public domain. And I asked for the financial experts, whoever in the Federation have the financial expertise, and those lawyers who doesn't want to seem to represent the local people, who got the knowledge about these legalities, especially about the contracts. So I'm asking for the financial experts and the lawyers who got the legal expertise to explain these contractual situations. They need to try to get their hands on these documents so that they can explain in detail to the general public, so we can get that education and so we can make proper assessments instead of just listening to one side. We always need to hear the other side, but we need the expertise to come forward to educate the people, because a lot of people are still uncertain. And in my opinion, humble opinion, the politicians, they don't have no integrity. They're selling out the place, and they're not representing the people that put them there. Eventually, and it's already happening, St. Kitts and Nevis is going to be controlled by the oligarchs. Nobody's going to tell me that that's not happening already. But I wish the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis the best going forward. And one last point about what the roundtable gathering yesterday is, when I was asking about did they really look down the road and assess the future revenue, and the Prime Minister did indicate that as well yesterday. But let's continue to debate and have these discussions. And I really thank you for hearing me, man, this morning. Thanks a lot.
Okay.
Thank you.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Got itchy palms? That's a sign money could be coming your way with Scratch and Win from Caribbean Lottery. It's the easiest way to win instantly. No waiting, no fuss. With tickets starting from just $2 up to $20, win over $35 million in prizes. The higher the price, the bigger the prize. So scratch today for your chance to win up to $200,000. Available at Caribbean Lottery agents island-wide. Must be 21 years and older to play.
Red Passion. Embrace the mix.
Campari Red Passion. full action, this is red passion. Embrace the mix, add Campari, make it turn and twist. Add your chaser in your drink, Campari, red passion, make the nicest mix. Campari!
Campari Red Passion. Embrace the mix. Must be 18 years or older to drink. Drink responsibly.
Welcome to Island Tea with your faves. Keep it locked in with us for your daily dose of hot tea, only on Win Media 98.9.
And we are back on Island Tea as we continue our program this morning. I am looking through my phone here, and I don't know if you knew, Quint. I don't think you follow these things, but you know, Vibes Cartel ended up not going to Trinidad.
I heard
Because of
so.
contractual obligations. But I'm looking at the price tag that he was supposed to be paid. And this is a lot. And I even saw something going around here in our federation about a $4 million payout.
I'm not
I
privy
have to
to
get
that.
a bit more information.
I
on
did
that.
hear something about Vibes Cartel pulling out of that contract because he said, I think it was that he wasn't paid the full amount.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to start from there. It says, according to the event organizers, Vibes Cartel had received $950,000 US of the contractually obligated US 1.3 million. Before his decision to pull out of the concert due to their failure to meet the contractual agreements. That's a lot of money.
But if he got 900 and something, that's almost
the
1 million.
So when you come, you do.
Yeah, when you come, you finish the negotiation, and after you have performed, you're definitely going to have to get your money because you did meet your part of the contract. So I don't know. Maybe these young people are not so savvy, so smart as we think they are.
But it's not only him alone that pull out though, Clint. It says Cartel's Jamaican countrymen Sizzla Kalonji, Mali Dawn and Rushvan, as well as Ghanaian American singer, is it Mali? Also pulled out of the event for similar contractual issues.
Well, maybe you know, my take on this is this. If we're giving you artists, you work hard at your trade, you deserve a good payout, but if we as a Caribbean region are willing to pay out these kind of sums to you, and you're so steadfast and harsh, then maybe we should offer you less, you know. Maybe we shouldn't be off, because one of the big thing is that the country is getting a big lashback because people are saying you're paying this kind of money to artists, and we have bad infrastructure, bad road, problems with housing. You understand what I'm saying? So people are saying maybe your priorities aren't something about your priorities aren't right here. And I'm not saying artists should get pittance, but I'm saying if you're getting a good amount of money, negotiate your contract, perform, and after you have performed, make sure that you get your monies because you have performed. Ask for X amount up front, perform, and get the rest. I don't agree with this getting all up front. I do not. Because people have complained that when you show up, you give a lackluster kind of, you know.
You're not working for anything.
Yeah, you're not really.
You already received
you don't. Yeah, people.
Yeah.
We've heard that complaint a lot of times. You know, so.
But it is said that why the payment wasn't completed is because they said they were having forex issues in terms of securing the U.S. We have a caller. Good morning.
License limit. Number of allowed calls has been reached. Contact administrator.
Hello?
Hello, go ahead,
Yes.
please. I don't know what happened there. You heard?
They had a recording. That's
Yeah, some kind of mix up there. Hello, caller. Do call back. We're sorry about that. There's some kind of voice in there. I was wondering.
Yeah, saying we've reached the maximum to call something like
Yeah, but in relation to this Christophe Harbour thing, right? I'm still really puzzled. Now, what the Prime Minister divulged, what the Prime Minister spoke about in relation to Timothy Harris and some kind of shady deal, I agree with one of the callers that Timothy Harris would have to come back and defend that, because that is one side of the picture. From what the Prime Minister said, it sounds like a really, really shady deal, and it sounds. But then again, we've only heard one side of the story, so we've got to hear from Timothy Harris. That's the other side of the story. My other concern is this. The Prime Minister seems to have these bit of information, and he doesn't release them until something, like old people say, something hits the fan. What the Prime Minister needs to do when he has these kind of information, like when he divulged that this individual walked into his office and tried to blackmail him, and now this bit of information about Timothy Harris and this other deal, what the Prime Minister needs to do, he has his roundtable talks are very frequent. He needs not to wait until something is kind of not in his favor, like when the Christophe Harbour thing came out and everybody's up in hoopla, and then you try to come with, he needs to stop doing that. If you have these information, bring them out before. So when you do bring them up now, there's some validation. People say, well, okay, he did divulge this and blah, blah, blah. But when you bring it out in these, someone like me wonders why you were holding that information and you didn't bring it out before. Is it that you yourself were using it as a sort of, well, if you come out with something on me, I'm going to bait back with something. You understand what I'm saying? So we need not to have those kind of questions in our mind. Hello, caller?
Yes, good morning again.
Good morning.
Yes. I was about to talk about Christophe Harbour. And I actually, the commentary by Dwyer Astafan this week, I think, really summarizes the concern.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe you can perhaps play that or parts of it, because I think that
well, I don't have it.
Crystallized.
I don't have it. I would have. Yeah,
Okay.
I would have to get it. Yeah.
Yeah, but it really crystallizes the what we really should be concerned about. But I noticed in the round table that the Prime Minister did not answer the question posed by Mr. Bad, the journalist, about the cost of the overall cost of the
full amount,
paid.
full amount,
exactly, and that is fundamental to exactly what has happened here.
Yeah.
Okay. The whether or not in the final analysis we're being shortchanged, even though the 25 million may sound like a lot in the grand scheme of things. We really see it seems as if we've come out.
Mr. McMahon, I have a problem with the 25 million. Here's my big problem with it. If you are owner of a property, right, and you owe on electricity and you owe on various things, and then you're trying to sell that property, this is a part of what happens. Whenever you sell, part of you selling that property is that you would pay up whatever you owe in terms of legal fees and so on and so forth. Right. And that comes out of your pocket. That comes out of the individual who owned the property and is selling to someone. But in this case, what happened, the Prime Minister said he got 20, and when we listen to the breakdown of the payouts, after all these payouts were done, practically nothing is left from the 20-something million. My thing is this: Christophe Harbour not only owed this, that's one. Number two, we gave them bailouts on 2 occasions, and now you're telling me that after all of that, you give me some money and I'm the one who's paying these bills. The money that you gave me should have been money that I put straight into the treasury that I use from whatever social venture I feel. What do you feel about that?
Well, the thing is, we don't even know if the money that was paid represents the full amount owed.
That is it.
Right? And we don't even know. We know SIDF gave them money. There are payments to the National Trust and National Bank.
Yes.
What is that? Does that bring the accounts up to date, or what exactly does that signify?
Because he
that
says
they will got loan.
He asked them what they were owed. He didn't specifically tell us that.
Well, actually, my understanding is that he asked Kellek and
Social Security.
And, Social Security.
Not National Bank or National Trust.
Right. Well, I didn't mention those others. Okay, and so and I actually thought that there was a bit of covering of the backside, so to speak.
Okay,
in saying it like that.
Here's a hypothetical.
If you come straight out.
Here's a hypothetical. Let's assume, and remember, I'm using a hypothetical here. Let's assume that Christophe Harbour gave him 20-something million and said, look, this money is for what we owe in all of our debts, but this has nothing to do with some future payout that we're going to give you. And then the government goes and pay off these things as the Prime Minister says, but he did not disclose that this is money that was paid specifically for the payouts. You understand what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
So these are the vague things that we don't want to be vague.
Yeah,
we want to be sure.
Exactly. We want more. He used the word clarity.
Yeah.
And closure.
Yes.
which to me it raised more concerns than anything else. To exactly what is involved in the deal, and we know for sure that the SIDF gave them I think it was 16 million it was to pay, essentially to pay another bank.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't understand. So somebody who was involved in those contracts, and I'm not sure who. Right, because it's been such a long time, 20 years, and governments have changed in between. But somebody needs to explain those kinds of things. Those kinds of things really should not happen. Okay, and what is continuing is this secretive way of doing things. Right, you've seen it, like I mentioned yesterday with the East Coast housing. You've seen it with you've seen it with the CBI. You've seen it again with the World Bank report on the the revenue sharing thing between St. Kitts and Nevis. Right? When they were actually saying that the previous government was wrong to be holding the
information
IMF report.
Yeah.
And it's the continuing pattern that is really disturbing. Come straight out and let the chips fall where they may, right? It's understandable that you did not meet everything as it should have, but in correcting them, we need to know that first of all, it's being corrected properly, right? And you're not falling into the same kind of trap that investors put out there for the previous government.
We have another caller. Hello, caller.
Yes. Hello again. Quinn, I'm going to say to you again, man, you're coming up with a lot of great ideas. This discussion with you and McMahon is hitting the nail on the head directly. One last point that I want to interject along the lines where you guys are discussing is that when the Prime Minister is shedding light on these outstanding bills, really and truly, I'm asking the question and I'm putting it out there to the general public, right? What does those bills have to do with a real estate sale. Instead of the Prime Minister shedding the light on only $25 million, the $25 million, like you said, seems like it was just money paid out to take care of those bills. But what does that got to do really with a real estate sale? I mean, that property has gained value. They have something they call equity. We should probably be pulling some equity out of that value of that property, along with that $25 million. You know, Clint, I just requested for some financial experts and some lawyers, but we also need some realtors in the mix. We need some realtors in the mix because we're talking about real estate. Maybe we need to get all three of somebody representative of each sector: financial, lawyers, legal, and some realtors. We cannot be talking about a real estate sale and talking about some bills that me and you have in our house, about light bill and water bill and other bills in the house. Those regular bills, what do they have to do with a real estate sale? We should be looking at the value of the property over the time period that these people been operating in the federation. They have something called equity.
Bill, in other words, what you're saying is this: after whatever deal was done, we want to hear what kind of money the government made that can be used for its own social development, apart from any loans that were outstanding.
That's correct.
Yeah.
We also need to know, though. We also need to know what does that 30% represent? Because the Prime Minister said we still have that.
That is something that I'm not clear on either. I was speaking to Cortensia before, and I said, because when he started his talk, he said that somewhere down the line the government didn't own any land. Then I heard about this 30-something percent.
Yes.
Yeah, but here's it in a nutshell. After all the talk yesterday, we're still not clear on anything.
I would really like to know if, for instance, that 30% means that, well, basically we're hands off, but whatever profit the company makes, we get our share.
Yeah,
that's what it sounds like. That's what
it.
he keeps saying. So if they make $1, we make 30 cents. If they make $1 million, we make 300,000.
So we don't have any say in what goes on down there.
I'm not sure about that.
Well, like I said, the prior contract, Mr. McMahon, you need to see the prior contract. I think if you saw the prior contract, you might have
Can you share some of the things that we
you might have a conniption, you know.
the people who made the prior contract, right? Maybe they need to explain themselves.
I think the best person.
Maybe the government.
I think the best person to divulge and explain that contract is Dwyer. You know why? Because he has experience in being in government, a former minister. He knows all the ins and outs and intricacies. I think that.
But he's on record as saying that the contract was outrageous.
Yes.
So I want the persons who actually put their signatures to that in the first place, whoever they are, if they could come and explain exactly what they were about, that would give clarity.
Yeah, but you think that is going to happen? Do you?
Yeah, not going to happen. They run from the hard questions. Our leaders just are not honest. The Macron news with his wife in the entrance of the plane. When asked what happened, man, if your wife slapped you because she got upset, you should just say it. Like yesterday, somebody calling on Freedom Radio asking Nubian a question. Nubian, just answer the question and get it out the way. If somebody asks me what color underwear I got on, I got on a black underwear. You want me to pull it down and show you? It's simple, man.
But
let's change the way how we do politics in our islands, man.
they don't answer questions. Yeah, they don't answer.
But let me just reiterate what I'm saying. Let me just reiterate what I'm saying. This is real estate we're talking about. But all of the talk that we've been talking, I believe the Prime Minister he's more on the side of the investment. But I want to hear about the ownership side of things. Why is it only 30%? Why are we just settling to take out 25 million right now? But 20 years has passed that this entity is being operating in the Federation. So it's time to pull out of this entity what they call equity. It's time for us to pull some equity out of that property too. But I haven't heard anything about that. 25 million, like you said, you pulled out 25 million and you're just paying off the bills for those people. I don't really think that's enough. I am concentrating on the real estate side. There is being a real estate sale. I want to hear about the real estate sale and not about paying some bills that the company owns over 20 years of operation. And I hope they have some real companies, reps, agents out there that can maybe come in and call and participate in these type of discussions so we can get that education. That's my point.
But nobody's going to touch this.
Yeah.
I don't think any legal luminaries are going to touch this because you only touch something.
We don't want to talk about the issues that's important to the country. This is a big national issue, and my appeal right now, man, is the staunch labor supporters. They need to maybe come out from under their own party and hold their leaders accountable to break that Labor Party, and then unite with the rest of the general public to break the system. This is a new appeal that I'm putting out to people, the citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis. Otherwise, the status quo remain. If they do that, they will break the system. But we got to probably start at the labor die-hard supporters.
But caller, yeah.
You're saying that nobody is going to touch it.
Yeah.
But isn't that what oppositions are for?
Well,
to bring these issues to the public and hold the government accountable, to make sure that.
Mr. McMahon,
but are these issues for the opposition, though?
With that question, that is a good question there. With that question that you asked,
that's a great question.
With that question that you asked about the opposition, here's where it puts us in a conundrum, because we have grown accustomed to oppositions doing what we expect of them. So if oppositions come out and they question this and they put that, it's just going to be the same old, and then when they get into power, it's back to. So what we want is either genuine opposition who come out with genuine questions, and if they get a chance to get into a seat of authority, that we see a difference, or else, what sense is it that you're asking these hard questions, but if you get into power, you continue the same thing? That is why what Cartencia asks is valid. Is this a question for the opposition? Because the opposition is just the same old.
That is why there should be renewal, both in terms of government and opposition. We can't have the same people who's responsible for all these for all these mess ups. Just switching, every 5 years switching.
Yeah.
We need renewal. We need new people. We need young, fresh people who don't have the baggage of so many of these that we have right now. Okay, that I think might shake things up.
And young, fresh people who are serious about making change.
Yeah, and not beholden to the older heads, because I honestly get the impression that some of the younger ones are protecting some of the older ones.
Yeah.
Either
yes.
that,
yes,
or
that's correct.
Or they are intent on doing the same thing, and so they are afraid to really bell the cat. You know?
But the other thing that concerned me was when the reporter, what was his name again? Glenn Bart. When Glenn Bart was asking the question, you could see from his expression that he was kind of puzzled when the Prime Minister said, well, I asked them how much was owed. I don't have to ask about the total, right? And Mr. Glenn Bart, you could see he was kind of like puzzled, but he didn't know how to follow up from there, because technically what the Prime Minister said was not wrong. It was right. But as you said, Mr. McMahon,
putting the blame on somebody else.
That's it, because it still didn't answer the questions as to was it the total, what is the total. We didn't get that.
And although he's not the minister for Skelec, I think he's the minister for Social Security.
Yeah.
So he should have been very definitive, at least with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, with that. But it was a very nuanced answer, which. And I honestly don't like when politicians not straight up with you.
And
when they're gonna, it's like they're insulting the people's intelligence, man.
In that instance, that is one of the few times when I must say that Prime Minister Jew was very diplomatic, right? He was very diplomatic, and it worked.
I wouldn't say I'm not so sure it worked.
I mean, it worked. It worked in that instance. It worked at that time. Now we still have the questions, so it didn't work ongoing. But on that yesterday in the call on the round table, it worked then. That is what I mean.
But do you think if we were to have a conversation with all the journalists that were in the room yesterday, that they would say that they have full clarity on the questions they asked?
Yeah, that's a good one too.
You mean the journalists themselves?
Yeah.
All of them that asked questions yesterday.
Do you think that they would say they have clarity?
No, they probably say no.
Yeah.
Right. But too, remember, the press secretary is there to. I don't know if you noticed the part where he was going to intervene, and the Prime Minister basically telling him it's okay, we're going to ask the question. But so the whole forum, you can see, it's designed more, not so much information as what do you call it, damage control. Mm-hmm. Because remember, and I think it's you who pointed out, Quinn, that rather than you should be proactive in issuing information rather than responding to things that whether they're leaked or come out from some other source.
Yeah.
Right? Because that is what it is. It always seems that you're behind the curve when you do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You should be if you're open and transparent, you don't have anything to worry about.
Yeah.
Even if it's gonna seem bad even if you feel that people not gonna be pleased with the information that they get, at least you're honest and straightforward, and you come and trustworthy, so that you come straight out with information that gives people confidence.
Yeah.
Right. At least they'll trust you and say, well, I know that he's accustomed to be straight up, and so I know what he's saying is correct.
Yeah.
Okay. But when you have these kinds of wriggling and nuances and so on, it doesn't give you confidence. It makes you seem untrustworthy.
Yeah.
And I wish they would really
watch them with a side eye.
Yeah. Well, let's take a bit of let's take a bit of a commercial break, and we'll be right back.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Magnum, my brand. Everybody put a Magnum in the air now. From you a drink Magnum, make me see. Take charge of things now your place now. From the river to the beach to the street. Hot Magnum when me have in a me hand there. Give her a sipper, she tell me sweet. Look for me watch for your quick time check. Yeah. Right now a Magnum for your beat. Enjoy yourself every day of the week with a Magnum. My life I forget sweeter. Must be 18 years and older to drink. Drink responsibly.
This Mother's Day weekend, give her the gift of style, comfort, and savings during the Hospice Mother's Day mega sale. Mothers deserve more. From Thursday, May 8th to Saturday, May 10th, is 25% off everything store-wide and all discountable items at Hospice Building and Nevis Centers, where we say, build with us. Hospice Furniture and Appliances. Get style, comfort, and savings. Ashley Home Stores and Kits. Home to her favorite looks. Builder's Paradise. Always bringing you the everyday lowest prices. Plus at Hospice Furniture and Appliances and Ashley's Home Store, get 25% off all cash sales. And wait for it, double cash back on all higher purchases. And at Hospice Building and Nevis Centers, it's a solid 25% off all discountable items. Just in time for those home improvement projects she's been dreaming about. Mothers deserve more. She deserves it all. The savings, the comfort, the beauty. So don't miss the 3-day Mother's Day mega sale. Thursday, May 8th to Saturday, May 10th at Hosford's and Builder's Paradise. Built for her, price for you. Terms and conditions apply. Mothers deserve more.
Building supplies, electrical supplies, furniture appliances, carpets and tiles. It's the company where you can get it all. All at TDC, home and building depot. From lawn and garden, the TVs and stereos. All at TDC, home and building depot. Come on down, get what you're looking for. It's all at TDC, home and building depot.
Spend $25 or more on any scratch tickets to win a season pass and a night stay at Park Hyatt, a season pass and a night stay at St. Kitts Marriott Resort, and a season pass and a White Sands ticket. That's right, spend $25 or more on any scratch tickets to win. Available at all Caribbean lottery retailers island-wide. You must be 21 and over to play.
Welcome to Island Tea with your faves. Keep it locked in with us for your daily dose of hot tea, only on Win Media 98.9.
And we are back.
And I think we have a caller.
Okay. Caller, go ahead. You're live on Island Tea.
Hey, good morning. Good morning.
How are you?
Good to hear you.
Lord, I hear wearing out my finger.
Oh, Lord.
Wearing it out. Good morning to all the listeners at home and abroad. Nice hearing y'all. Let me start with this sale of the place. Now, when the project was announced, Buddy Darby himself came on Freedom FM. I don't know how we don't listen and don't hear. Right? Outline what the project was to be. I written my own, I wouldn't say fast, called in object to what he said, because he said they were going to have these number of houses and whatever, each with its own private beach. I called him and said, excuse me, there are no private beaches in this country, you know. He just said live, you know, live on Freedom Radio. We hear, but we don't understand. So he said, you know, I know, you know, but make a great appeal when you're selling. I said, excuse me? So if you're going out there and perpetuating what you not to be true.
You're selling, you're misleading folk.
Hello?
He was misleading folk.
Man, they had the whole thing planned. Dr. Douglas and all who are in the cabinet, so don't excuse any. Because this was done publicly. But the Darby had a partner and they had some falling out. In the case of choice, must in the UK or whatever. So he turned to St. Kitts to take up the part that his partner used to carry. And even the one with the salt pan, I called in again. When it was announced, I said, are you aware of the function of it? Oh, this is Honorable Dr. Douglas who's supposed to come so something, you know. Well, they're going to make it better. They're going to make it better. Has it been made better? They were allowed to cut through the land to let the seawater flow into the salt pan. What have we gained? So all of this thing about, as you said, they need to read. Dr. Joe does not want to lay any blame on Dr. Douglas. But he and his whole cabinet, all of them agree to it. And since he couldn't think, of course, Dr. Douglas being the one in charge of the SIDF, consented for him to get the money. You understand? Because remember, his partner had dropped out.
Yeah. But Sylvain, if you have a partner and the partner dropped out, I would assume that whatever the partner own, if you're going to come in, if you're going to ask me to come in, whatever the partner own, you're asking me to take up that. I'm assuming wouldn't that be the case?
Yeah, but you see, remember that what they asked for was a loan.
Yes.
You're not scampishionist, right? You're scampishionist. And the idea was when people begin to protest, said, oh, well, just like with Kitty Chanel, we actually lend them money up to the value of 92% of that project. And I used to call him because I used to read the financial accounts. They should be on the SIDM line still.
Yeah.
So there. And if you read the notes, you see, they're passing this money, and when people protest, oh, well, we're going to get this percentage. It was determined there. And they were to pay interest on our percentage. Up to when Dr. Harris was in, they were not paying any interest. So when I hear Dr. Joe trying to play scapegoat, then I heard Dr. Harris say, you know, they own the bank.
Yeah.
And they were trying to get the bank to write off the $136-something million.
Yes.
And they were taken to court by Dr. Harris people. And they agreed to give a certain number of acres of land. But they did. Not the whole bit, eh?
Yes.
That is where the whole thing is supposed to start. Who put up the idea of allowing them to sell it? Mm-hmm. Because they gave them full rate. I mean, we were here complaining about the sugar.
But Sylvain, what you're saying now, that opens up another part of the picture that I was unaware of. Because you're saying that because they
went to court, yeah?
They were taken to court, this is where the land part came in now, where we were offered land.
we offered land to cover the debt.
Yeah, but you see, Miss.
Not the whole debt, you know.
Yeah, I know. But the Honorable Mr. Jew, he isn't giving us that impression.
Well,
So you see,
excuse me, you're in the same party. I mean, be reasonable. They created the problem. You understand?
Yes.
And one person was 10 men in one, so even though the 9 was there, they weren't of any use. So he they didn't protest. After there's no protest in all what he participated in. That's why I tell him sometimes better he hush.
but
He is a participator.
But
There was
Sylvine,
no objection.
Sylvine, in all honesty, I'm not too sure, but wasn't he said? Dwight Asafan said he was never in agreement with that contract. And remember, he had a wait. Let me finish my point. And remember, he had a falling out with the party. So, are you saying that the falling out had nothing to do with the contract?
No.
Okay.
They have asked the Prime Minister.
Yes.
And on the show, Dr. Douglas was expressing, Dwyer spoke. He said, he had constituency too, which is large.
Yes.
And the people were making all kind of requests. And he spent his own money, and he went out and he borrowed. Right?
Yes.
He then asked the Prime Minister for the party to pay either the whole debt or a portion of the debt.
Yes.
Dr. Douglas answered on the radio and said, I never sent him never borrow nothing. And he proceeded to degrade. He never sent him to borrow no money from nobody. This is for the party,
Yeah.
Do I trying to be kind, I understand?
Yeah.
And his constituents making all kind of requests. And he did his best, contributed what he had. And he got other people to lend, where the lender done it.
Yeah.
But it bothered me when Dr. Douglas said, well, I never send you nowhere, I never send you to go borrow the money.
Yeah.
This is to keep the constituency,
Okay.
And then he decided to launch an attack. So the falling up between Dwyer and Dr. Douglas was over that, and to me, Dwyer was right.
Okay.
And I hope some of them learn, because sometimes they ask more than what they want, than you could afford.
Yeah.
And you expect, as part of the party will help support you, because whoever got the money, constituency could get anything they want.
Yes.
So that is it.
Okay.
So whether he agreed or he didn't agree, he didn't call in the day. I was the nuisance, as they say.
Yeah.
On the radio. I want to know how on God earth
As
you could be
usual.
out there advertising land, beach with house. Eh? They know differently. Some of them, me saying ain't gonna hush, blind ain't gonna stop me. I mean, really. So a lot of the excuses coming up now. Oh, Harris ain't in a position to make an official thing. Harris was the last Prime Minister. He was also involved in it. So you can't dismiss what he says. Well,
remember he said that official thing, right? Because he said state of basically addressing state of address, and he says basically that's only the Prime Minister's privilege.
Darling, who got information talk?
Yeah, but I guess he didn't want it.
So I mean, so
phrased like
only
that.
could tell.
No, come and say, but don't say you have no
official authority.
Don't make it look like you're the PM in charge still then.
But he's a member of Parliament, and not only that, he was one of the top men. Well, you know who he was? Sam Kanda. He was the Deputy Prime Minister. And I've never heard more evasive talk than him. I said, oh, well, me no. You see, this is what, when my man was saying 10 men in one, they sat down and allowed him to do so. Why they don't call on him? He knows. Imagine he took the roofing from the sugar factory and gave it to Derby them to put on the restaurant. You know that, right?
No, I'm not. This is news to me.
I'm
I don't know everything, and this is why. This is why.
Maybe you were ignoring. Some of you have you all head too far in Africa.
Well,
Because what you were going on here.
maybe you're right.
Yeah, because I mean, sometimes me alone, me ain't reading. I read. The accounts are on the website. People could still go and read. Read. Imagine when they put in 52%. They agreed to lend the money, but have no say in the management. I say, you're crazy.
So then, Miss Sylvine, you see, this is why I'm glad that you're still alive and you're still around. And if you hadn't called, I would have asked for, because we hadn't heard from you in a while. But
sometimes I can't get in. Sometimes I say, look, I mean, my heart goes to Africa, but enough of that is enough.
Yeah. Well, I'm always going to dwell on Africa, and this is why I
know, but
this is why I say, Sylvian, and no one can blame me. This is why I say there are numerous individuals out there. If you have anything to give an issue on, call. I do not have a monopoly on knowledge.
That's true.
Yeah. So if you have something out there, call and we'll discuss it, and I will be enlightened.
Yeah.
So Sylvian, this is what I'm saying. Because you called today, and you give me some clarity, because when the Prime Minister first started yesterday, and he said the government initially didn't own land, then he said 30-something%.
By the way, all the land over at the South Peninsula.
Yes.
Were private.
Yes.
It didn't just come. And by the way, Mr. Gratcha, all I know we did, they had to skip over that part.
Yes.
He however, he willed it for them to start some training, something, right?
Yeah.
But he also owned.
Yeah.
Families owned.
Yes.
But the one with the doctor, Denzel Llewellyn Douglas, went in the parliament and acquired the land.
Yes.
And handed it over to Buddy Darby. The same thing he did with the Angelus. You know the Angelus Hotel?
Yes.
Yeah.
He acquired it and passed it over to married people. I said, these things we don't hear, but we don't learn or we don't understand, and they pass over our head.
But those are very, I mean, just even hearing, I mean, imagine a prime minister elected by the people to do the people's business, advance the country, acquires land and turns it over to an external entity. Yeah, I mean, this doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And
it makes sense politically.
And like I said, to me it doesn't even make sense politically, because who are you going back to the electorate again to vote you back in so that you can keep doing the same thing?
You know what they need. So you have the money. Well, as the bed, fridge, stove, and everything.
Yeah.
You even if people don't want to vote for you, well, buy the bed mattress ain't good. The fridge ain't there. The microwave, you know what I mean?
And remember,
you are meeting people's basic need.
And remember that leader made the famous or infamous statement: "They don't want land. They don't want land. They want the keys. Shake your keys."
Take it back. Take it back. He asked the question, "What do you want?"
Yes. Oh,
you
yes.
Want land? No.
Yes, you're right. You're right. So I take it back. He asked them the question.
He asked the question and he got the answer.
Yes, he asked the question.
All 8.
Yes, yes, you're right.
You understand? So, you know, look, when people at the edge of desperation, they take what they get presently with the hope that someday something will turn up.
Yeah.
You know, but people should have heard that Buddy Darby was on the radio live. I mean, I call in and all. Let me see, and you give the man a chance. I said, which chance? The law says all beaches are public. and you have this gentleman on the radio saying marketing our beaches. So with each house is a beach. I mean,
so Sylvine, let me ask this question. Okay, so what you have said so far has given me at least some clarity as to how we wound up with this 30% or how much ever land thing. But the Prime Minister said yesterday...
No. It wasn't 30% of the land, you know. It was 30% share company.
Yes. Okay.
That's a different story.
Okay.
The land thing came up when they were taken to court.
Yes, that's what I meant. That's what I meant. I misspoke there. I misspoke there because I am not as au fait with that as you are. So again, let me say, okay, so because they were taken to court, we wound up with the land. But the Prime Minister said yesterday, piece of the land. We have to be very clear. Okay, thanks for your correction, and I will always take it because you're much wiser than I am. Okay, so yes. So the Prime Minister said yesterday that Timothy Harris was trying to give back the land to Christophe Harbour. So here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking you said that Denzel Douglas acquired the land and gave it back. So it seems to me if what Prime Minister Drew said yesterday is right, then that Timothy Harris, because they took people to court, got this land, and then it seemed from what the Prime Minister was saying that he was ready to give it back or sell it back to Christophe Harbour. That is what I gathered from it.
Anyway, let him say it again. So I wonder when are we going to hear this Dr. Harris response?
That is what we're looking forward to.
And where did he make the first one? Because sometimes I try to find which station he's on. Some of them look at the station on YouTube.
Yes. Well, we brought it live, and we picked it up. We picked it up from I don't know if it's the government information system or whatever, but we brought it live yesterday.
Which one you brought? Harris one?
The Prime Minister Drew's.
Oh, they won't tell you pick it up from SK9, as I said.
Yeah. Well, I'm not the one who picked it up.
Yeah, but I didn't hear the beginning, but I was listening, say, Lord. Start with Denzel Douglas.
Yeah.
He is the Minister now of Investment.
Yes.
So he would be in the best position to explain what they signed and what they agreed to.
Yeah.
Because this man was so bold, you know, so bold. So when the open park Hyatt and started to put down big stone, that's what they were sold. Why do you think they only sold the land above the watermark? And so you go.
Yeah. Oh, Sylvie and I forgot we have another caller there. Hello, caller.
All right then. I'll finish.
Yeah.
All right then.
Hello, caller.
Yes. Good morning again, man. I'm going to talk straight directly to the citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis.
Well, Burl, before you continue, let me get on your case now. I'm going to brace yourself, Burl. Broaden your back because I'm going to get on your case right now. Burl, you keep saying that you want this Brian clause moved. And we keep saying to you, you say you're not going to take the risk because there are no guarantees. But you are often asking the people to come on out and protest. I am saying to you, at what point do the people expect from people who want to represent them in the future, at what point do those individuals put themselves in to where they take risks? Because nothing in life comes easy. If people are going to go out and protest, they're taking risks. They're putting their livelihood, their jobs on the line because they could get a backlash. But often we've seen people who want to get into positions of authority and leadership, they stay far, they goad the people on, they say protest. But then in the end, when the people vote, they are the ones who reap the benefit. Yes, it is a risk, but when the final come down, you're the one who's going to be put in the seat, and you're going to have the clout, and you're going to be able to make the decision. And the people who took the risk now are put in the back burner, where they are now waiting and hoping that you will represent them. So I'm saying to you, Burl, as a young potential leader in the future who I like the way you think, I like the ideas you come up with, but I'm saying, Burl, that life is about risk, and you cannot expect the people to take all the risk, and you don't want to take any risk, but you want to reap the benefit. I understand what you're saying, but I'm putting it forward that you can't have your cake and eat it.
Okay, I accept that fully, 200%. And here's what I'm going to say about that. Think it's a Nevis is not mine. I'm an individual citizen of the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis by birth.
Yes.
My birthright is under attack.
Yes.
Beneficially, what I'm rooting for is not. I'm not rooting for it for myself. I'm rooting for it for every citizen of St. Kitts and Nevis who is in the position I'm in. At the end of the day, a man that plants a mango tree might not even eat one mango off of that tree. I'm already 56 years old. What I'm rooting for here right now, I may not even benefit. It's going to pass over my generation because of the fact that they are slow in making any amendments to that Constitution. Realistically speaking, the people of the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, they have a fundamental right to protest peacefully. They are not exercising that right. And what I'm encouraging from afar, because of the fact that I'm not on the ground, is for the people, when they're dissatisfied, especially with the national issues, is for them to come forward collectively beyond the party line and exercise their fundamental rights to protest peacefully. We see what's happening around the world when people protest. Our small island state of St. Kitts and Nevis, it's too small for so much corruption. It's too small for us to just sit there and think that every entity, every business deal, every situation, 200 acres of land is given away to foreigners. At the end of the day, St. Kitts and Nevis is separated by 2 miles of water. And one of the big issues in terms of commerce is that waterway between St. Kitts and Nevis. Water taxis is going back and forth. The sea bridge is going back and forth. You know, commerce is happening between there. The big thing of that is the bridge. We want to erect the bridge between St. Kitts and Nevis. But if we sell out the peninsula on the St. Kitts side, the bridge will never come possibly. Or if it comes, whoever the owners are of those lands on the peninsula in that specific area, for example, where the bridge can possibly go down, whoever is in control of that land at that time, if they ever to come up with the capital to put that project down and make a decision, the leaders will make a decision to collectively move that bridge forward. But guess what? You're not going to put no bridge in my land, and don't think that I'm not going to control it. Or you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The bridge cannot go down in somebody's property without them objecting to it. We already done heard that the Darby family said that they don't want people to drive through their land. What the people of St. Kitts and Nevis got to realize is that when all of these beachfronts are sold out, like Ms. Sylvine is saying, Jamaica already don't have the problem of local people cannot walk on the beach in certain spots in Jamaica. It is going to happen in St. Kitts and Nevis, and it's already happening already.
Yeah.
So the citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis, they are sitting there not participating in the affairs of their own country, and the persons in society who has the knowledge and the know-how on the ground to lead and mobilize the people, I am not seeing nobody doing it. If they move that brand clause, I would immediately be in St. and Nevis. That's a promise.
Well, Burl,
And I guarantee you I can keep that promise.
Burl, here's where I agree with you to some extent, because your argument is that you are a born citizen of St. Kitts and Nevis, and the fact that you have citizenship with somewhere else does not negate the fact that you are a citizen of St. Kitts and Nevis. I agree with you on that. Here is where I further agree with you, because when you have, like Sylvian outlined, an individual who has citizenship of St. Kitts and Nevis, is elected as a leader, he makes a deal where he makes this instance where he gets land and then turns it over to a foreign entity. I mean, what could be more against the native than that? Now, this is an individual.
Okay,
let me finish. Let me finish. This individual elected by the people doesn't have dual citizenship. He is just as only had the citizenship of St. Kitts and Nevis, but yet that individual gets land and turns it over to a foreign entity. So isn't that against the interests of your people? So this is a double standard.
Yes.
This is a double standard, and this is why I agree with you to some extent. Go ahead and make your case now.
Yes, and all of the points that you have just put forward, Prince, I hope that the St. Kitts and Nevis people is listening. When
yeah,
we all know the brand clause. You see all that's happening in St. Kitts and Nevis right now? It's appealing to the brand clause. You know why? The brand clause has come down to loyalty and allegiance.
Yes.
When you put your hand on that Bible and you put your left hand on that Bible preferably, and you put your right hand up, and you take an oath, Prince, loyalty. Everybody needs to go and get the dictionary and get the definition of loyalty.
Yeah.
When you have a wife in your house and you have a husband, a woman has a husband, when there's a husband and wife in a house, the moment one person starts lying to the next one, the loyalty has broken right there.
Yeah.
So all of these politicians prior, from when we went independence to now, all of these politicians, it took 40 years right now to see how they have destroyed they're destroying the money. They're destroying the money of St. Kitts and Nevis. That's the taxpayers' money these men is destroying like that.
Yeah.
This money is not their money out of their pocket.
So
when
in other words,
and the Bible and you take, I'm agreeing to exactly the points what you just made.
Yeah.
But it's taking 40 years for the city. It's taking 40 years right now for St. Kitts and Nevis people to see how all of these prior politicians, what they have done to the Federation. And so then, therefore, my appeal to the St. Kitts and Nevis citizens is that all of these politicians that have led St. Kitts and Nevis up to this day, they were not loyal, and they're not showing that they had any allegiance to the Federation.
That is
so
the
then,
point.
Therefore, that prayer clause got to be removed.
That
so that
is
all citizens can get in the mix.
That is the point.
Right now,
and you made it. And you made
Quint,
it clear.
I'm sorry to be screaming this. Quint, I'm sorry to be screaming today because loyalty and allegiance comes from the heart. When all of these politicians is treating the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis like this, they are not showing no loyalty and allegiance to the place.
Yes.
They are not. Bro, if you say you love a woman, bro, and you're loyal to her and you're married to her, there's no way you should go outside and cheat, bro.
Yeah.
No way. That's what real loyalty is, man. It comes right here from the heart.
World is
It's
passionate
intangible.
today. Yeah.
It's intangible.
Yeah.
All of the people in St. Kitts and Nevis who's defending, talking about that ban clause needs to be in place, that ban clause is now come down to loyalty and allegiance.
Yes.
You cannot tell me any one of these politicians is really displaying loyalty and allegiance to the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis with this type of behavior.
Yeah.
You cannot tell me that. You cannot tell me that. They all need to go home.
Well, don't Don't send your pressure
They
up.
need to go home.
Don't
Thinkers
send
and
your
leaders
pressure
people
up,
got to get that courage. They have to.
Burl,
Remove these bald heads.
Burl.
Remove these bald heads from office.
Burl, take it easy.
Somebody got to come up out of the
Cartens,
ashes.
Burl,
Somebody got to come up out of the ashes.
Burl Cartensis says, and I agree with her, do not send your pressure up. Relax, take a deep
Yeah, exactly.
relax,
I won't.
take a deep breath.
I'm going from here straight to
Yes, we're
I'm
gonna.
going from here straight to Walmart to take my blood pressure when I get off the tube. And before I do that, I'm jumping in the shower just to get cooled down. But there's some soft-spoken people that be coming on the radio, right? They are defending people in the Federation of Thinkers and Leaders. They're condoning wrong.
Yeah.
We cannot be condoning wrong like this forever. I left out the Thinkers and Leaders in 1985, and we're still complaining about water supply and electrical supply. When these politicians, they had enough money already. So then, therefore, as the man destroyed the money coming into the CBI program for over 40 years, the people of the Federation is going to suffer. Thinkers and Leaders people are going to suffer unnecessarily. We had the money already. Thinkers and Nevis should be in tip-top shape. Any one of you all walk any one of them beachfront properties and Thinkers and Nevis, and a white man or a rich person come out and say, why? Let me tell you something. Don't cross that line, you know. That's my property. That's what's happening on the peninsula already. And wait until that 17 degrees realtor in Nevis get control of them lands on the south side of Nevis, and then it's all over for both islands.
Yeah. Anyway,
Talking
Burl.
about the bridge being erected.
Anyway,
The
Burl.
last point before I get off. Last point. Give me 30 seconds, please.
Okay, go ahead.
That bridge that we're talking about erecting between Sinkers and Nevis is nowhere that bridge is going to happen when we have foreign owners of that peninsula of Sinkers. Sinkers and Nevis citizens, you all need to wake up, stop attacking each other, get off of that party line and realize these politicians, they are gangsters and they want us to be their gang members. Thanks a lot, man. You guys have a good day.
Yeah, well.
Well, we'll end it there with a phrase.
Yeah.
We're the gang members. Oh my God.
I'm going to take a bit of a commercial break and we'll be right back.
Campari. Red passion. Embrace the mix.
Campari red passion, full action, this is red passion. Embrace the mix, add Campari, make it turn and twist. Add your chaser in your drink, Campari red passion, make the nicest mix. Campari!
Campari Red Passion. Embrace the mix. Must be 18 years or older to drink. Drink
I
responsibly.
think that thing is just to keep it.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is Win FM.
Campari. Red Passion. Embrace the mix.
Campari red passion, full action, this is red passion. Embrace the mix, add Campari, make it turn and twist. Add your chaser in your drink, Campari red passion, make the nicest mix. Campari!
Campari Red Passion. Embrace the mix. Must be 18 years or older to drink. Drink responsibly.
Get ready to stretch your way into the ultimate festival experience. The Sickest Music Festival is calling, and so are some serious prizes. Spend $25 or more on any scratch tickets to win a season pass and a night stay at Park Hyatt, a season pass and a night stay at Sinkers Marriott Resort, and a season pass and a White Sands ticket. That's right, spend $25 or more on any scratch tickets to win. Available at all Caribbean lottery retailers island-wide. You must be 21 and over to play.
Welcome to Island Tea with your faves. Keep it locked in with us for your daily dose of hot tea, only on Win Media 98.9.
And you know, sometimes when I'm quiet, I'm just listening because I have to be informed. I didn't know all these things. I wasn't living here for a period of time, so I'm just listening to understand. But I'm normally always Googling something.
Yeah.
And I was Googling, why do politicians not answer questions?
Yeah. And what did you come up with?
They said distraction is the best part of getting your attention onto something else.
Yeah.
So before a person is compelled to answer honestly, they distract by giving other answers, attacking opponents, asking questions instead of answering, just to ensure that your attention as an audience immediately moves to some other topic. They also say unless they are really good, strong politicians, they do that often because they don't really have an answer.
Yeah. Perfect answers. Perfect. Depend on Google.
And they said, well, these answers are from Quora, and it says politicians want to maintain control over their messaging. By not answering directly, they can steer the conversation towards topic they prefer to discuss or emphasize their key points.
That is why I said earlier that our honorable prime minister, when he has information, he needs to bring it out before.
Because it leaks.
Yeah.
Because before he could tell us about the sale, somebody already leaked
No,
it.
but I'm speaking about the sale. I'm speaking about...
No, but I'm just putting that as an
Yeah,
example.
yeah.
Because we knew before he addressed us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because when you, for instance, one of the big points he was making yesterday was that Timothy Harris was trying to sell back the land or give away the land, or whatever. And I am saying, if you have that kind of information, don't wait until your back seems to be against the wall and then you bring it out. That is what
Like
I'm
a lawyer.
saying. Yeah. I'm saying bring it out before, and then when your back is against the wall and you bring it up, people will validate you. People will say, well, this isn't the first time he said it. You know what I mean? We heard him say it before, and I agree with him. But when I, for one, am hearing it for the first time, I'm going to hear what you're saying, but then another part of my mind is going to be asking, well, why didn't you tell me that before? You know, so those answers that where the distraction, it's about distracting, putting it onto, making your mind go onto another tangent.
as it says,
Yeah, so take your mind off of the fact that we're not clear on how the sale went and how the monies go. We don't have total figures and an account. So you're bringing a distraction by saying, but he tried to sell, you know what I'm saying? So this is what I'm saying. We don't really want that. Hello, caller? Okay.
But I was told we won't know the full amount of the sale because it is not fully owned by the government.
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
think legalities will prevent our prime minister from saying it was sold. This is just me. The prime minister didn't say that it was sold for 50 million.
Yeah.
This is just me saying a number.
Okay.
But he's not able to say those things.
Yeah. Hello, caller. That is true. That is true. But what we want is from our end to have closure and clarity on everything in terms of, because my question is why the monies that you got, all of it seemed to have been exhausted in paying bills. That should not have been the case. Let them pay their bills, and the 20-something million that you got,
As you said, use it to
use it to the benefit of, Hello, caller?
Hey, good morning to you all.
Yeah.
How's everybody doing?
Good,
Yeah.
thanks. Yourself?
I'm all right. Regardless. Let me say this. A lot of people talking about loyalty and integrity and whatnot in opposition. But all of us have heard the saying, hell is paved with many good intentions. You see, people can say anything they want in opposition, but the true test is in the eating of the pudding, and that is when they get inside. Now, what I'm going to say is, if we have people who are truly honorable and integrous, what they say when they were in opposition, when they get in, you will see a move to change it. You know what I use as a yardstick? When they get in after that election, I look to see how the leader or the PM conducts him or herself.
Yeah.
If within that first week, I don't see any move to tackle the country's issues, call your men and whatsoever, you start hitting the road with your 2 feet erect I don't take it seriously after that. If when you get in, all that we are hearing, oh, you're gone to this meeting and you're gone to that meeting and you're gone to that meeting, to me, you will never stop going to the meetings. And while they're busy pushing other people's agenda, your home is going astray. That is my clue to see whether they really mean what they say or not.
Yeah.
Now, in order to be loyal and integrous and be referred to as honorable, when you get in, people expect certain basic things to be done. The Constitution. If it's a problem in opposition, when you get in, make that move. You have to change it, you have to make amendments, you have to do what say. If nothing can be done, let the people know. I have said this many times before. In the electoral process, if it is not working in opposition when you get in, what have you done to change it? Because you see, basically, everybody use the system to their own convenience and advantage. When it comes to them trying to stay in, and when they realize their backs are against the wall. Something more important I have to say. Everybody talking about loyalty and honor and integrity and all of these things. Let me tell you, I have said this many years before and I'm going to repeat it. As long as the system remains, I don't care how many good intentions they express in opposition. If and when they get in, they are not going to make any change unless they're really honorable and integrous to make the basic changes that is afflicting the people, and that has to do with the electoral process and the Constitution and whatever else.
Yeah.
If those are not changed, they are going to do the same thing that the system expects them to.
Yeah.
When they go in and they pledge allegiance to the Queen, her heirs and her successors, now they're talking about a man who nobody know nothing about. They're pledging allegiance. What do you expect?
Yeah, that's
They are pledging allegiance to these foreign entities, not to the country or to the people. Their interest is not in the people. It is in foreign interest. That's why you see we see all of these happening, all these things happening. It is not to us. You understand? And another thing, listen to how they speak. When they go into the House of Parliament, whatever they have put before them, right? All of them agrees to it. All of them. Just the other day, one of them said, well, even if we have our internal differences or whatsoever and so on, when we come to the public, we are united. I don't know how many people listen. We are united. When they go in the House, all in favor, aye. Those against, silence. Not even those in the opposition, you hear say aye. Everybody agrees, whether it is in the best interest of the people or not, they agree. So when they're talking about, oh, when I go there, I will do this and I will do that and I will help the people and so on, that is not true. Because the day one steps out and decided, hey, look, I am not in agreement with that, and express it in their deliberation in Parliament, you're going to see what happens. You have a minister who is in charge of the Treasury, so to speak, and they have budget allocations. If I am there as a representative and I do not agree with certain things that's happening and I express that in the House publicly, what do you think is going to happen to me? You think that money that they have allocated, they are going to ensure that I get it to work on the behalf of my constituents? It's not going to happen. And so I use me hypothetically, not that I personally would have done that. That's why you see certain jobs, I don't want it. I don't want it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have lost in some of these jobs. I don't want it. Right? Because I can't be a yes person. And I can't go and hold on to anything that is wrong and start, no, that is not me. So I cannot be in certain positions. I cannot last. But some of these people, even if they had a conscience, or they pretend to have a conscience, by the time they realize that their livelihood is threatened, the first thing they're saying, oh, you know, I have children, I have rent to pay, I have this life. So they remain quiet. And then when it's time for election, they come out and they try to bamboozle the people with all kinds of explanations. You see? But I cannot blame them. I blame the people. Because they are the ones who are set against each other in this system, the present system of things. I always tell people, you know, this system is of the devil. It's the devil and his seed that is running it. It does not belong to us. And we are trying to fit in and to be validated in this system. It is not going to work for us. You see what is happening in Burkina? You hear people talking about that leader. Let me tell you, if he had gone in under the present system, even if he didn't want to, he would have found himself doing the same thing. Because the forces that are there, the invisible evil forces that are there, are working to ensure that whosoever get in, they have to toe the line or else. Now, what is left for this country, really? Sugar, they took sugar away. Tourism, I mean, we cannot depend on it because they come here, they do as they like anyway. You can't go and complain about anything. Your own people is going to come against you. Anytime a tourist go and complain about a local person, these local officials are quick to find the local person to give them a tongue lashing. But if the local people have some grievance about what is done and they go and they speak to their people, they don't go and represent their own people to them. Right? They represent the Europeans to their own people, but they don't represent their people to the Europeans. You understand? Yeah. So this is what we have. This is what we have in the system. What is going to happen moving forward? Because tourism, you cannot depend on it. Sugar is gone. The CBI, I am not in agreement with it, never will, but it is there, and I have to be realistic. All of us have to be realistic. That, again, it can't sustain, and I have said this years ago. So after that, then what else? We talk about we are an intelligent people, our people are creative and creatives, and all of this thing and so on, but still, our people are not involved in serious decision making in terms of moving the country in the direction that it should go. They are left out, but yet we are intelligent, we are educated, we are this and we are that. So what are we going to do in time to come? I hope people are seeing this, you know. What do you think is going to happen? It's going to get worse until someone is of a different mindset to operate under a different system. But I don't see it for this federation because we will not be able to operate under a different system unless we have the resources. We have to have the resources, and it's not only just the brain. You have to have the monies also. All right? The man in Burkina, he is able to sustain because they have natural resources. But you see how all hell is breaking loose against him. And he is able to sustain because the people realize that this man, he is really concerned about the affairs of his country. And so they are united under him. They are united. I'm not saying 100% because you still have the pockets who maybe through corruption and greed and who want the validation of Europe, who they can use to. But you see how the Lord Almighty is working in his behalf. You know, somewhere in the Bible, and I'm not here to discuss whether people believe it or not.
Caller, I want to ask you to wrap up because okay. we have about 2 more minutes before the end of the program. When we're on and on next day, you can call back and continue.
Okay, so I will stay right here then. But thanks for listening to me.
Yes.
I appreciate it very, very much because I realize that you took some time to listen.
Yes.
I appreciate it very, very much. Okay.
Yes.
Have a blessed day.
Same to you. Yeah. I tell you, some good questions there. Where do we go from here? How do we move forward until and unless we change the system? How do we get individuals of a mindset that will change the system? Those are all questions that she asked. Valid questions.
And how when we see something wrong is taking place, if it's going to affect us, that we say something.
Yeah.
And just trust
Get closer.
We say something and just trust that provisions will be made for us.
Yeah.
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 Because just to sit around and look at wrong and not say something is...
Yeah, you're just as bad as...
Just as bad.
Yeah.
You're part of the company.
Yeah.
And see, I tell our friend Greg all the time, this system of things is not being but I leave. You see, as I say, I can't fight politics, I can't fight religion. And one day God will just clear it up, even if I'm not there to see. And yeah. And if I see him over there, I'll say, you see what I told you? So we'll have our,
You know, those are, as we close, those are very, very relevant questions, questions that we as citizens have to ask. Where do we stand presently and how do we move forward in a way that benefits us as a people? Do we continue to elect individuals who put their hand on a Bible, swear allegiance, and then, like the caller said, how do you expect them to be aligned with you and your interests when they swear allegiance to a foreign entity? But then again, there are those who have become republic, swear allegiance to their people, but still lean towards the foreign entity. So it has to be, she referred to Burkina Faso and its leader, and I want to remind people that it's not just Burkina Faso. It's Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali, 3 of them. And right now, I think in Mali, their leader is doing some very, very big things, right? And in all of them, they have all aligned so that they can buttress and protect each other. So I sometimes cringe when I hear people only calling the name of Ibrahim Traoré. Yes, he is first and foremost in what he's doing, but let us not forget the other 2, because if you do your research, you will find out they're doing things also, and they're doing things to move their country forward. So do some research on what is happening in Niger and Mali, and not just always single out Ibrahim Traoré, because when you do that, you're putting a target on his back, and you're singling out, like you're saying to the rest of the world, he's standing alone, and he's not standing alone. Okay? So that's how we're going to end things for today. Do take care. Do you have anything to say?
Nah, we're almost there at the end of the week, so happy hump day.
Yeah, hump day.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Campari. Red passion. Embrace.
Campari red passion, full action, this is red passion. Embrace the mix, add Campari, make it turn and twist. Add your chaser in your drink. Campari red passion, make the nicest mix. Campari.
Campari Red Passion. Embrace the mix. Must be 18 years or older to drink. Drink responsibly.